Hello, I'm having some technical difficulties, and so that's why I have some of the work here, so I'm going to explain the work and then continue. But I began the other video explaining a couple of things. Number one, I apologize for not getting the video out sooner. It was my intention to do it earlier this week, and I failed at that, so my apologies. And then the main thing I was going to talk about when it comes to multiplying and dividing fractions. What we are not interested in seeing to show that you know how to do it is the algorithm. If you know the algorithm, that's great. It's going to be a great way to check your work and check your understanding. But you're not going to get credit for your work if you use the algorithm. We want to see you thinking. We want to see that you understand what's happening in the problem. And when we're using the algorithm, it doesn't show understanding. It just shows an answer. So that's why we will not accept that. So if you're a parent watching this and you've already taught your kid the algorithm, that's fine. But the work that we're going to see is going to be work that, or that you want to see at home if they're practicing, is work like this, work that I'm going to show you. Okay? All right, so the first one, 6 times 1/5. One thing that we do and what we want to know is that doing this, multiplication is also repeated addition. And so if I know it's 6 sets of 1/5, I can have 1/5 6 times, add my numerators together, and get 6/5. Another thing I can do, which I think is an even cooler way to do it, is this idea of the associative property and understanding what numbers are made of. And so the number 6 can be broken into 5 and 1. So I can take 1/5 of 5 and 1/5 of 1, and I get the answer that I need. I get 1/5 of 6. So I'd much rather see this kind of thinking. This shows real mathematical understanding than just going, oh, it's 6 times 1 is 6/5. No. Okay, understanding that I can take apart this number, make this easier on myself. So 1/5 of 5, okay, that's 1. If I just, 1/5 of 5, that's 1. And then 1/5 of 1 is 1/5. Much easier. Much better. All right, the next one is 8 times 2/3. I think for this one, the one that makes the most sense is to take the unit fraction of 8, which again, if with enough practice and an understanding, I know that this is 1/3 8 times. So again, I can say that that's 8/3 pretty confidently. And since it's 2/3, I want to do that twice, and that's going to give me 16/3. I do not have to simplify. I do not have to put it like that. There's no mathematical reason to simplify. It is not an expectation. And if you're trying to simplify every single time, bad things will happen. You'll stop thinking about fractions correctly. So that's why we don't do that. This problem, 40 times 5/8. I see my friendly 8 and 40 number, so I know that 1/8 of 40 is going to give me 5. And how many times are we doing that? We're doing that 5 times, which is going to give me 25. So my answer is 25 there. Okay? So again, if I saw something like 208, no sirree Bob, I'm not going to accept that. That doesn't show any thinking. That shows reaction. Shows reaction, doesn't show response. We're looking for response, not reactions. All right, in Zach's class, 3/5 of the 25 students are boys. How many boys are in Zach's class? Show your work. All right, so if I know that 1/5 of 25 is equal to 5, because that's the same as saying 25/5 or 25 divided by 5, I know that's 5. And I'm looking for 3/5. That's going to give me the answer 15. So 15 students are boys. Okay, when we have word problems, we need to show the work, we need to label it, okay, all of that to show mastery and perfection there. Maddie's little brother spilled ketchup on one of her homework problems. So her homework problem is 1/3 times some number that's been covered up by ketchup equals something. So thinking of this, okay, and then they're going to give us an instruction here. Assuming that the number under the spill is greater than 0, so this, I'm saying this number is greater than 0. Fill in the bubble to show what Maddie should be able to tell for sure about the answer, even though she can't see the other number. So for any number greater than 0, what is true? So this is testing your understanding of multiplication. So the answer would be less than 1/3. So if I had 1/3 times any number, any positive number, well, I can disprove that pretty easily. 1/3 times 1 is 1/3. So it could be 1. 1's greater than 0, so I know it can't be that. The answer will be less than the ketchup-covered number. Okay, well, let's see this. 1/3 times 1, that's 1/3. Ooh, that's less. What if I did like 1/3? 1/3 of a third. Oh, 1/3 of a third. That's less. That's like a ninth. Let's try a big number. 1/3 of 100. Well, that's 1/3 of 100. That would be like 30. So yeah, I think that any answer is going to be less than the number under here. Oh, and that's the reason we're doing that is because when I multiply by fractions, my answer is going to be less. Okay, so that's what it's testing me on. But it could be more than one thing. The answer will be a fraction. No, because if I do 1/3 times 3, so 3 groups of 1/3, that's going to give me 1. That's not a fraction. The answer will be greater than the ketchup covered number. Well, it can't be both. It can't be greater and less. Right? And I think we've already proven it's never going to be greater. It's never going to be. This is the right answer. Explain. How do you know? Because our first factor is 1/3. The product will always be less than the second factor. Period. Them's the facts. Alright. Fill in the blanks. Use numbers or labeled sketches to show you how you got your answer. You can use the rectangular array below each problem to help if you want. So again, we are not looking for the algorithm here. If you do the algorithm, it's not right. Again, you can do the algorithm to kind of check your work and check your thinking, but no. So we're taking a half. We're taking a fourth. So we're taking 1/4. 1/4 of 1/2. So we're taking 1/4 of 1/2. And that's going to give me 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1/8. Okay, we have 1/3 of 1/4. So if we look at that, that's right here. That's 1/3 of 1/4. And that's going to give me 1, 2, 3, 4 by 3, 12. Here we are looking at 3/4. 1, 2, 3. So that's 3/4 of 4/5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are looking at this area right here as our numerator. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 20ths. So there you go. Alright, at Kelly's school, 2/3 of the school playground is covered with grass, and 3/5 of the grassy area is a baseball field. How much of the school playground is taken up by the baseball field? Make a labeled sketch. So I have to do a sketch. I have to use a sketch to solve the problem, and I have to write an equation. Okay? So here's a set of playground. I like rectangles. Okay, here's the playground. Two-thirds is grass. Three-fifths of the grass is baseball. That's 3/5. I'm going to extend these lines this way just to help me understand how many pieces there are in total. So again, so this area this part right here is the baseball field. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 6/15 of the entire thing is the baseball field. So my equation is 2/3 times 3/5, and my answer is 6/15 of the playground is a baseball field. Alright, so Corey says 6 divided by a half means the same thing as 1/2 of 6. So the answer is 3. Do you agree with him? Why or why not? Okay, well I'm going to think this through. I'm going to try and think of an example. Another one, because they're just numbers. They're just numbers, so they should do what other numbers do. So I'm going to change a half to 2. So in his theory, he's saying 6 divided by 2 is the same as 2 times 6. No way, that's not right. So it is not the same as 2 times 6. So fractions are still numbers. Numbers and multiplication and division do not work like that. Right. Oh, and let me give you another hint here, a little thing. These kind of questions, the explain your thinking questions, that's a good way to earn your 4. Okay, so explaining your thinking, when I give you an assessment back and say you've gotten 3 wrong and you're able to look back and make your changes to it, anytime I'm asking you to, like I said, explain your thinking, teaching people, making videos, making the posters, that's how you earn the 4. Alright, last set of problems here. There is half a pan of brownies left. 4 children are going to share it equally. Hopefully that's a small pan. That's a lot, because that could be a lot of brownies. What fraction of the whole pan of brownies will each child get? Write an expression to present the problem. So that's 1/2. Oh wait, no. Divided by 4. Because we have 1/2 of a pan, and that half is going to be divided into 4 different groups. Use numbers and labeled sketches to solve the problem. So I have to do both. So here's my brownies. So brownies. And I'm going to cut these brownies up into 4 equal parts. Okay. So these are my cuts. And they're saying, oh, each child, so this is 1 serving right here. That's a serving. So each child is going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1/8. 1/8 of the whole thing. Ah, numbers, sorry. We have 1/2. And then, well, this is almost like a fourth of, a fourth of a half. And a half divided by 4 is the same thing. So I could have said 1/4 or times 1/2. Ooh. I could have said 1/4 times 1/2. Going back, that would have been, let's check that. We're saying 6 divided by a half is the same thing as a half of 6. That's not what we're saying. That would be how would we do that? 6 divided by half would be, wait, 6 times 2, I guess. Oh, weird. Weird and wild stuff. Alright, cool. Shelly, hey, my sister's name is Shelly. She spells it differently though. Shelly made cupcakes and now she wants to frost them. She has 4 cups of frosting. It takes 1/3 of a cup of frosting for each cupcake. How many cupcakes can she frost? So she has 4 and she's trying to separate them into thirds. So she's trying to see how many thirds are in my 4 cups, because I need 1/3 of frosting for a cupcake. Use numbers and labeled sketches. So I have my thing here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4 cups of frosting. And they're saying that every cup I have 1/3 of a cup. Oh, that's brutal. I should have made this bigger. So there, I made, if you can't tell there, I made, we can zoom in. How about this? Just move everything. Right, so I tried to, I mean, again, this is not to scale. I tried to make thirds. So each of these is a third serving. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have, she can do 12 cupcakes. There we go. Alright, so I'll have some other videos with some other strategies, but I do want to get this out and about, maybe with some other activities and stuff we can do. Ciao.